Today we're in lesson 5. This lesson, in my experience, has been like an invaluable compass that has supported me in my path inward. Today and tomorrow are going to be, consider them tools that are helping us navigate our way to our truest essence. They're going to be invaluable. So I want to take time today and tomorrow to give a concrete explanation to help this information land, to help ground us into what it is that these lessons are pointing us to. I am never upset for the reasons I think when heard without context of what we're doing is we're in a path of spiritual awakening. When we hear I am never upset for the reasons I think, that could sound like a slap in the wrist. That could sound like an insult. This is why I am never upset for the reasons I think. If I believe that the reason for my upset comes from the external world, I will, not consciously, unconsciously, my survival system is going to kick in. And it's going to suggest for me to spend my time fighting the world, people pleasing the world, or the traditional, I'm going to put all of my investment of energy into caring for the well-being of others in order for others to be okay so that I feel okay. Or the typical, I am going to avoid the world and withdraw from the world because I am overwhelmed by the world. Oh, the traditional fight, flight, freeze, fawn response that we tend to operate from based on how we have solved problems during our history of surviving in this planet. For no other reason than this is just how we've addressed problems in the past. But the Course in Miracles is saying that we're in the process of awakening outside of all of those strategies. And that is why lesson 4 was such a major step forward in the path of spiritual discernment, because now we're saying, okay, hold on. Instead of applying all my energy to fix the world or change the world or have other people recognize me, well, I'm going to come inward. And I am going to consider that perhaps I am not upset for the reasons I think. And now, not only are we turning inward, but we're starting to challenge the interpretation that has arisen in our mental field, which is the field of awareness, that is that life force that we're in union with. The essence that we are has an interpretation that we have adopted through our conditioning from the past, and we have been acting from those conditionings through our evolution in this planet. But what this lesson is doing is it's going backwards, going inward, and it's saying, for the purposes of connecting to our deepest essence, we're going to now go inward and start observing what are the interpretations that we have made that we're holding in our mental field of consciousness, which is our truest essence. And we are identifying with a view, a perception, and that perception is ultimately what is needing to be seen clearly. That perception, that interpretation is what's needing our attention. It's needing a revision. It's needing kindness. It's needing care. Once we are able to connect to the interpretation that we're holding in our mental field, now we can apply kindness and compassion and care to that interpretation so that we can see more clearly that we're not the interpretations that have colored the world around us. We are the field of awareness that notices the interpretation arise and notices the interpretation subside. But as long as we're holding our identity as what the interpretation is reflecting in our mental field, we can't truly make progress in the spiritual dimension, because we're going to be thinking and acting and behaving from the lens of the interpretation. And as we saw in the first 4 lessons, the Course in Miracles is very kindly, very lovingly guiding us to consider that nothing I see in the world means anything. Why? Because I have given meaning to what I see, either through my own meaning that I have made, or a meaning that society has made and I have accepted, an interpretation that others have made and I have accepted, but I am not those interpretations. What if those interpretations didn't have greater clarity, didn't have greater awareness? So the lessons one by one is helping us to turn to the field of awareness, and from the field of greater awareness, observe these interpretations. Like lesson 3 said, if I don't understand what lens I am using to observe the world, I can't truly understand myself fully, because I am not a specific interpretation. I am the field of consciousness that is holding that particular interpretation. And then lesson 4 was starting once again to let go of the external world, turn inward, where we can start to practice putting ourselves in a place of presence, allowing our presence to expand, to notice what's arising and passing in our mental emotional field. And now lesson 5 is a beautiful compass that is inviting us to consider that we're not upset for the reasons we think. So let's say, for example, throughout the thousands of years of evolution in this planet, if I have been afraid of the neighboring tribe, I know that my fear comes from the neighboring tribe, and I'm going to create an army to protect myself and my tribe from the neighboring tribe. That's obvious from the strategy of the survival system. But the Course in Miracles, as well as every other spiritual path, what it's doing is to help us see our fear from an entirely different vantage point, not only to the interpretation that we've made, but also to that emotion. We have curiosity towards these very difficult inner states. It says in the book, worry, depression, anxiety, anger, hatred, jealousy, and any other number of form, all of which are perceived as different. And then there's one more component that the lesson is very skillfully pointing us to. It's inviting us to consider, to put in our back pocket, that there are no small upsets. Okay, so I will let go of being jealous with this person, but I won't let go of being jealous with that person. There's no small upsets and big upsets, and there aren't some that we can keep and also maintain our inner peace. We have to treat them all as equally disturbing to our peace of mind. And that is a very important aspect that the Course is highlighting, that these truths are universal. And as we continue to unfold our trust in these lessons, because through our own experience, we find relief from pain, as we start to lighten the sense of anxiety and the sense of anger. And as that starts to lighten from our internal mental emotional field, we're going to continue to build trust that it has to be true everywhere. For the aspiration of feeling this relief that the lesson is little by little helping us tap into, let's go ahead and practice together. Like we did yesterday, it's the same process. So we simply sit in a comfortable position or stand or walk. And we rest in the field of awareness that we are. And in the field of awareness, if we have experienced an upset that we remember from this week or from today, we start to apply the exercise. Oh, I am never upset for the reasons I think. So I am not anxious about fill in the blank for the reasons I think. And to make this integrated into what we practiced yesterday, the field of awareness that we are is the one that can perceive from the vantage point of fear. It's the one that can perceive from the vantage point of anxiety. It's the one that can perceive from the vantage point of worry. The field of awareness is our truest, deepest essence that can hold any different vantage point. And so this is what we're little by little helping us to go more and more and more to the field that we are, that can perceive from different vantage points, and helping us to decouple who we think we are from the energy of fear. I am not a fearful person. I experience fear. I am not an anxious person. I experience anxiety. I am not defined by my jealousy. The field of awareness that I am experiences jealousy based on interpretations that I am holding about who I think I am. And so this is going to continue to unfold every day. But this is the gist of Lesson 5 and what it's pointing us to. Lesson 5 is inviting us to let go of the narrow vantage point of our flight, fight, freeze, fawn, response system that we have used to survive on this planet. And the journey of awakening is to open up to that greater field of consciousness that has a lot more tools than the tools that have driven our survival strategies up until now in this planet. So as I say this, I feel like, as I say this, I remember why this path is so joyful, because it's like in the movie Inside Out, having a new panel that has an upgraded way of experiencing the world. And to say more about that, I will actually use the movie Inside Out on Lesson 6. And I'll explain more from that vantage point, because I think it's a great tool for understanding as well. Go ahead and leave me comments. Let me know how this landed for you. Or if you have questions, that's going to help me also direct how I create the videos. And I'll see you next time for Lesson 6. Thank you.